It's that time of year again. The baby moose are out. This one has twins, and I know she'd be pretty darn protective of those babies, so make sure to stay out of their way. Hi there! I know it's been a while, and I'm excited to be able to bring you a video today to give you an update on the market. This market we've had this year has certainly been different than the market we've had the last few years, so I'm excited to bring you that update a little bit later. Also, I've got a great chickweed smoothie recipe, and you already saw the moose calves. But first I have a few announcements. One, I'd like to let you know that I've got a wonderful new executive assistant. She's been with me for a little over a month now. Her name is Lorraine, and she's come up from San Diego. She's been a transaction manager for a huge Keller Williams team down in San Diego, and I'm excited to have her as part of my team. And second, after a few years of talking about it, I have finally reserved a park for my first annual, hopefully, client picnic, and that's going to be coming up Sunday, August 18th, and you will be checking your mailboxes. You'll be getting information in the mail. I'd also like to give a shout out to all of my July birthdays. So happy birthday to Amy, Todd, Monica, Jeremy, Mandy, and Melinda. Also, home purchase anniversaries, people who have purchased homes from me in July in the past. Happy home purchase anniversary to Brent and Dana, Chris and Christy, Roman and Peggy, Shannon and Chrissy, and Jim and Sue. Despite mulching the garden, I still have a pretty good crop of chickweed here. But one of the great things is that chickweed is actually very healthy for you. So I'm actually going to take a handful of this. You can use chickweed in salads, but my favorite use for it is green smoothies. So I'm going to take some of the chickweed, I'm going to cut off a few of my kale leaves, and some of my chard, and I'm going to go inside and make a healthy green smoothie. Okay, so here I have my Vitamix. You can use whatever blender you have. I've already put pineapple, strawberries, and bananas in them. You can use fresh or frozen fruit. I happen to have fresh. I've washed up my chickweed, my chard, and my kale, so I'm just going to throw that in there. I'm going to add some water. And if you're using frozen fruit, you may not need to do this, but since I'm not using any frozen fruit, I'm going to throw in some ice cubes. And then I'm going to blend this whole thing up. So with a high-speed blender like the Vitamix, I blend it for 30 to 45 seconds. With a different kind of blender, you may need to blend a little bit longer. Here we go, a nutritious, tasty drink that even the kids will enjoy. The other thing you can use are dandelion greens, but they're really bitter, so usually if I use dandelions, I don't put in more than 1 or 2 leaves. It's a great way to use the weeds that grow in the garden up here. Cheers! So Celeste, is that a yummy green chickweed smoothie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now then we
So this has been a really interesting year in real estate. It's been one of the busiest markets I've seen in the 18 years I've been selling real estate. And one of the reasons for that is we've had extremely low inventory early this year. In fact, the inventory is still pretty low. And we had incredibly low interest rates. I saw rates as low as 3.25% on a 30-year fixed loan. So that drove a lot of buyers into the market. The inventory was low. We saw multiple offers on properties. We've seen the pricing come up a little. The pricing has been pretty stable though. We haven't seen huge increases in pricing, but we have been seeing multiple offer situations in a number of price ranges. Now recently, over the last month and a half, rates have started to go up. The government announced that they were going to quit buying mortgage-backed securities when the unemployment rate hit a certain number, and that announcement started driving interest rates up. In a month and a half, they went up about 1.5%. We've seen them ranging, depending on loan type, between 4.25% up to 4.625% on a 30-year fixed loan. Now this means a lot less purchasing power for a buyer. It might mean a few $100s more in a mortgage payment, or being able to qualify for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 less, depending on price range and depending on interest rate. But rates are still incredibly low. The historical average is about 8%. And I remember even just 3 summers ago when it was up at 6.25. So I tell people anything under 5% is still an incredibly low interest rate. And we expect rates to go higher once the unemployment hits that level and the government completely quits buying those mortgage-backed securities. So if you're thinking of buying, you definitely want to get in now while rates are still really low. And if you're thinking about selling, the market's kind of stabilized. We're not seeing the multiple offers as much as we were, and we're seeing things sitting a little bit longer because the interest rates have gone up. But it's still a good time to sell. If the house is priced well and in good condition, it will sell in this market. When interest rates go up, prices are going to either stay flat or they're going to start dropping. So if you want to sell, we want to do it before the interest rates get much higher.